The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome back to the channel. It's time for another Tactical Tuesday. Unfortunately, we're not at the range today because we're going to talk about something that you can practice that doesn't require ammunition. And in these days, ammo is expensive, time is cheap, so practice your non-shooting skills as much as you can. Today we're talking reloads, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways to reload your guns and stay in the fight. The first method we're going to discuss is your just standard two-handed reload. And don't worry, all guns are empty. We're using dummy rounds. No ammo in the range here, as you should not have any ammo around when you're doing any kind of dry training. And camera's on a tripod, so I'm going to be pointing the gun at the screen, and there's no one behind it, and there's no one behind my wall. Always know your target, know what's beyond it. So, first thing, bang, 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 you're empty, or you need to top off for whatever reason. You're going to bring your gun back here to your workspace, keeping your eye on your target. I'm going to first get my hand on my loaded magazine before I eject, and as I'm bringing this fresh magazine up, I'm going to release other magazine, slap that magazine in, and I'm gonna rack and re-engage. Even if there is a round in your chamber, maybe it's theoretical at that point. You don't know if there's a round in your chamber. So even if your slides forward, I always tap rack. Because sometimes I've seen it happen. Slide goes forward on an empty chamber. So I want to make sure I know it's loaded. So like I said, every time I do that reload, whether slides forward, slides back, I'm slapping the mag and racking one in there. And when I rack, I'm getting that full grip. I'm not hitting the slide stop, not slide release, because in a gunfight, your 5mm spills go to shit, and you may not be able to manipulate this little button. So the lobster claw technique always works. All right. Second draw is your one-handed draw. For some reason, your support hand is now out of the fight. And let's say you have to draw this way. Since I can't do, as we did in some of you seen our shorts about how to draw your pistol, I can't do my two-handed clearance of my garment. So I'm going to take my hitchhiker's thumb, I'm going to hook that shirt out of the way, get my grip, and draw that way. All right, so gun is empty, you need to reload it. I can't reach for my spare magazine, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the magazine. If it doesn't fall free, I'm going to slap it on something like my thigh, just to help get that magazine out of the weapon. And then I'm going to stow this somewhere. Most convenient spot, if you're one-handing it, is just put it back in that holster for now. If you're kind of crouched down behind cover, I can hook it kind of in the back of my leg there, or even just set it on the ground, just somewhere to free up this hand to do what it needs to do. Then I'm going to get my spare magazine, insert that mag while it's still in the holster or wherever, and then I'm going to use my rear sights to rack the gun off my belt and get back in the fight. Now, part 3, support hand only reloads. Now, say you've got to draw your weapon this way. Easiest thing for me, I reach kind of behind my back and grab that gun from the opposite side. I know when I was a bigger dude, this might not be as easy. So if you can't reach your weapon with your offhand, practice, figure out a way. This is the way. That's why we practice, is to figure out. So we're doing this in practice so we don't have to figure this out in a actual scenario. So same, like I said, this hand's out of the fight, so I can't draw reload with it. All right, so same thing, gun's dry. I'm going to remove the magazine, get it on something to help it get out of there. Then I'm going to stow it wherever it's convenient. Since there's no holster on this side, I'm just going to stick it in my pocket, grab my spare mag, insert it, and something I forgot to show you when we're doing the right-handed reload is I want to still tap that magazine, make sure it's fully seated, and then again, just rack it off your belt. And get back in the fight. So that's your 3 kind of most common reloads: two-handed, primary hand only, support hand only. Like I said, it's best to practice these things so you don't have to figure it out when, unfortunately, the time comes to use these skills. So get to the range. If you can't get to the range, dry practice, not just shooting, but drawing with, your non-dominant hands, shooting, reloading, and even maybe we'll do another video clearing malfunctions one-handed or off-handed. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.